Welcome back, gentlemen. Today we are going to talk about why women need to bring peace into your life and stability. So, guys, the women that you invite into your life as your partner or as basically your woman, right? The girl that you're in a relationship with or the girl that you have intentions to marry, whatever the case may be, you want to ensure that she is going to bring peace into your life and not bring chaos. So peace, guys, comes in many forms, and chaos comes in many forms. So some red flags to look out for are women who are always in different places. So I work in a gas station, right? And I work with a lot of women that are modern, meaning they're typically promiscuous, they're typically into drugs, they're typically involved in the club scene and the party scene, right? So these are girls that are, and they come from cities, right? So they typically, like I'm in Florida, so a lot of the girls are from either Orlando, Tampa, Miami. So they grew up in a culture that was all about drugs, gambling, partying, and that typically gives you the idea that these girls are most likely promiscuous. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them are, right? So a red flag to look out for is a woman who is always out, meaning, like, let's say you guys are dating, right? And she's always like, hey, let's go this place, let's go this way, let's go over here, let's go over there. You know what that lets you know? That lets you know that that's been a habit before you guys are even in a relationship. So her body count is most likely going to be higher, right? Because she has a habit of going to malls, going to clubs, going to the movies. And then, most girls, guys, whether we realize it or not, women get their needs met through men, right? So women are always dealing with men on some degree, right? It could be either through Tinder, through Bumble, through Instagram, through, at their job, they have men hitting on them, approaching them, right? So women are always dealing with men. So you have to realize that it's very crucial that you understand that a woman who is always going from one place to the next, or always can never seem to just be at home or be content with just living, a low-key life. I'm not saying that, she has to be boring and she can't want to experience new things. That's not what I'm saying. But if it's a lifestyle, if it's a way about her, if it's habitual, meaning like it's constant, she's always over here, she's over here, she posts on her Instagram or Snapchat stories, she's over here, over there, there's a high likelihood that is a woman that's not going to bring peace into your life, right? Because the issue with that is, guys, and I'm going to explain how this will screw you up. If you have to deal with that, right, that typically is going to throw you off what you're doing, right? So a man, right, is typically the protector, the provider. So if you're the provider, right, if that's your that's your job, right? If you're in a relationship with this woman, your goal is to be the provider. If you don't have enough money now, it's okay, but you should be working towards that. If that's your main vocation, right, and that's what you do, then you're not going to have time to always deal with your girl asking you to go to this place, that place every other day, right? This week, let's say you guys hang out 2 to 3 times a week, and every time you guys hang out, she wants to go over here. Hey, there's nothing wrong once in a while going out to eat. There's nothing wrong going on a vacation, going to the beach. But if it's every day and she's constantly bugging you, right? She's constantly like, hey, what are you up to? Hey, let's go over here. If she's too spontaneous, people say being spontaneous is a good thing. To a degree, it's not, because when your woman's too spontaneous and she's always wanting to do things, that's going to get in the way of your routine, right? Men are we're creatures of habit. We do things very routinely, right? Like we go to work, then we go to the gym, then we meal prep, then we read a book, then we do our work on our business, right? So we have our lives are provider based. We do things in a linear fashion. We're not out here doing, going all the way in left field and doing random things at once, because men understand on a deeper level that in our hindbrain that we are the providers and we are the protectors. So we can't be doing things that are childish, right? And I'm not saying that. Like I said, I don't get, guys, don't get the point. Don't get the message here that I'm trying to say you can't have fun or you can't enjoy life. Life is to be enjoyed, right? That's a given. But if your girl is constantly wanting to do things at the expense of you, at the expense of your purpose, at the expense of your goals, then the relationship's not going to work, because you being a provider and your ability to provide is being hindered, right? And when your ability to provide is being hindered and you're going whichever way your woman wants to go, then it's not going to work out, and you're going to feel a sense of being off purpose, right? And and you're going to, as a byproduct of you listening to your girl, as a byproduct of you falling into what she wants to do, you become more like the women following her, right? Because she's the one setting the dates, and she's the one asking you, telling you, let's go here. And it's like, no, man, it's got to be the other way around. It's, you have to establish in your relationship, hey, this is what I do and this is what we do, right? Like my girl, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but we hang out twice a week. We hang out Wednesday night and Saturday night. And all we do is she comes over, she cooks food, and we hang out. We do our thing, and that's it. Simple. We hang out probably like from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So that's 3 hours, a couple times a week. We don't have to go, we might go out once in a while. Like I took her to Sarasota, to the beach a few months ago. We were at a hotel for like a weekend, but like I'm not doing that shit, and she's not blowing my phone up every 3 hours about how she wants to do this or how she wants to do that, or hey, I'm over here, come over here. Like that's not it, guys. You want stability and peace, and you want to have a routine. You want your relationship and your dates and you guys seeing each other to be routine in the same, and pretty much the same thing on most occasions. Like me, right, or most of you guys, we go to work, we go to the gym, we do things in a routine fashion. It's like stupid to be doing random things at once and then have your work schedule be thrown off because you're listening to what your girl wants to do, right? So like I said, and that's just one aspect of it, right? Like if a girl is, so that's the aspect of like throwing your day off and getting you off purpose, right? Which most girls are really good at doing. Because most men are simps, and it's funny that the guys that fall for this shit and the guys that end up being listening to the women and letting the women pretty much lead, those are the guys that typically are addicted to sex. They typically are fiending for the puss, right? So they're the guys that are sitting there, oh yeah, we'll do what you want to do, yeah, and you know what, it's like they don't even really want to do it, but they know, oh, I get sex, I'm gonna get my sex, I'm gonna get my nut off, right? I'm gonna get the coochie, right? So that's really like why I think a lot of guys fall off, and that's why a lot of guys follow the women's lead, because they're fiending for sex. If you take sex out of the equation, if you take the need to bust a nut and the need to have intercourse, most of the guys, in this world today would probably not listen to what women want to do, but it's because we're so needy for sex and we don't want to feel like we're alone that we do stupid shit like this, right? So that's definitely something you want to look out for. And another thing too, you don't want a woman who's going to sit there and constantly nag you, like constantly questioning like what you're doing. Like if you tell her, hey, like I'm going to do this, or hey, I'm going to get a second job, or hey, I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. It's like, and then she's like, oh, what about this? Or hey, why don't we do this? Or why do you always do this? Why do you always work so much? Why this? Why that? If she's constantly asking you why, or she's constantly trying to tell you you're doing things wrong, that's when you gotta let her know, like, hey man, you set the boundary right there and then. You nip it in the bud. You say, hey, listen, this is what I do. If you don't like it, I'm done. Or you don't have to necessarily say it in terms like that. You could just say, hey, listen, if you don't like this, things probably aren't going to work out for us. So either I'm going to go do this and you're going to come with me, or I'm going to do this and you're not going to come with me, but I'm doing this and this is what I'm doing. So if you don't like it, then you got to go, pretty much. You don't have to like say those explicit words, but you basically make it known to her that, hey, I will let you go if you're not going to follow my lead. And when you can operate from that point of view, that brings power, because then women know they respect that, because it's like, hey, this guy's not going to let me push him around. And sometimes women will do that to shit test you, and that's when you got to be strong and assert your boundaries. A lot of guys, not you guys, but a lot of guys in our world today, they're so afraid to assert boundaries because they're so afraid of the girl leaving, or they're so afraid of the girl like getting mad. And it's like, as a man, you really have to understand that your purpose comes first, that your money comes first, that your body, your fitness comes first. So if you're gonna sit there and listen to your girl, and you're gonna sit there and listen to why she's questioning you and reorient your life towards what she wants to do, then you're putting yourself in the passenger seat and you're putting her in the driver's seat. And then eventually the relationship's gonna fail in that way, because women aren't designed to really be in a leadership role, and they don't want to be. They just do that to shit test you, to see if you're the strongest man they can get. So understand that. And I think this all stems, like I said, a lot of this stems from men being addicted to sex, which basically stems from pornography, OnlyFans, etc. So if you guys feel like the women you're dating or the women that you attract are always annoying, or they're always questioning you, maybe it's a sign that you're not in order, right? Typically, women follow men. So if you're not good, right, if your life is in shambles and chaos, then you're going to attract women who are going to just continue to push that forward and make that a reality. So it's your job. I think if you're single right now, if you're a man and you have an intention to get into a relationship, or you want a woman, there's no problem with that. But you have to understand that you have to get yourself in order. So that means basically, damn it, freaking mosquitoes. That means that you gotta stop watching porn. That's the biggest thing. You gotta get on your purpose. You gotta start working 2 jobs. You gotta start studying, getting back in school if you're gonna become something that's important. You gotta start a business. You gotta start getting on your purpose, and you gotta get your sexual desires under control. And you gotta be physically fit too. You gotta be attractive, right? Being part of getting respect from women is being attractive, being physically attractive. They respect that, right? Because most guys are fucking flabby, weak, ugly, fat, skinny, right? So you have to, in order to get a woman who's gonna bring you peace, you have to be a man who is worth that, right? So when you're dealing with women and you find that you're constantly attracting women that are like the same, they have the same tendencies, they all want to go out, they all want to do the same things, they're all questioning you, they're all being a pain in the ass, basically. Don't necessarily look at the women, look at you. That's where it starts, because women follow men. So women are the receptacle of man's consciousness. So if you're a man, if you're chaste, if you're celibate, if you're not blowing loads to porn, or you're not being promiscuous, going out to clubs, then there's a good chance, right, when a woman comes along, she's going to be the receptacle of that, of the type of man that you are, and she's going to be a peacemaker, bring peace to your life, not chaos, confusion, worry, and constant wondering about just constantly having to wonder what's going on. And I can tell you this: when a woman is constantly being a pain in the ass in the things that we've talked about, in terms of the things that we talked about, it's hard to focus. It's hard to focus as a man. It's hard to focus on your purpose. It's hard to focus in the gym. It's hard to stay the course, because by default, if you're put in the submissive role, if you're put in the feminine role in the relationship, that means that you're chasing the girl, right? So once she's established, hey, I'm doing this, and you start following her and you start being a fiend for sex, now she has power over you, and now you wonder why you're always miserable. You wonder why you're always pissed off. You wonder why you're always unable to focus on work, or unable to get started on certain things and be consistent. It's because you're in the feminine role, and you don't want to be that as the man, right? Because even if you do, get a girl by the skin of your teeth, and even if you are able to do that, you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna enjoy that process. You're not gonna enjoy that at all. Look at this water, man. This is nice. This is my backyard pretty much. But you're not gonna enjoy that, guys. So it's important to get yourself in order if you want to attract a good woman, and that comes from really starting out, it starts with you being in control of your sexual desire, because once you can get that under control, you'll start to do things that, you know, the masculine necessary the masculine essence wants to go out. It's outward focused, right? So a byproduct of being outward focused is you're on point in your career, you're on point with your job, you're on point in the gym, and you're doing things that men should be doing. You're not being in the submissive role, right? So if you've been struggling with that, you gotta stop watching porn, and then a lot of things after that start to just fall into place, right? Careers start to fall into place, your fitness starts to fall into place, a lot of things just start to fall into place. Now obviously it takes work, but that's really where it starts. So hey, by the way, if you guys are still struggling with porn, right, and you need some accountability, you need some help, you want to attract a good woman, you want to attract women who respect you, who bring peace to your life, like we've talked about here, then I highly suggest that you click the link down below to download my free ebook, where I detail everything that I've done in the past 5 years to help me successfully quit porn and, you know, have a great relationship with my girl and have peace, because that's what we all want as men. Deep down, we really want peace. We don't want the girls who are, you know, blown up butts and blown up breasts and look good. You know, those girls might be fun to have sex with, but as a man in a relationship, or if you want to get married, that's not the way. So download the ebook down below. It's in the link in the description. And yeah, guys, I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day. Peace.